A drone flew over Florida's swamps expecting to track invasive pythons. What it captured instead stunned scientists. Mile after mile of vanishing wildlife, collapsing ecosystems, and a second hidden threat no one saw coming. This isn't just about snakes anymore. It's a warning from nature unfolding in real time. Footage from the swamp reveals the unexpected. What began as a routine drone mission over the Florida Everglades quickly turned into something else. The goal was to track the spread of invasive Burmese pythons, predators known for consuming everything from rabbits to alligators. But what the footage captured wasn't presence, it was absence. As drones scanned sawgrass marshes, mangrove channels, and cypress domes, scientists at a Gainesville lab noticed something unsettling. No birds flushed from the canopy. No deer splashed through flooded trails. No raccoons, herons, or otters appeared on thermal scans. Not even frogs. At first, they suspected a glitch, but repeated surveys told the same story: an eerie emptiness. The Everglades, once teeming with life, now looked visibly hollow. The pythons hadn't just joined the ecosystem, they had dismantled it. Seed-dispersing mammals were gone. Birds that controlled insects had vanished. Amphibians were declining. The food web had collapsed. "This is a functional extinction event," said ecologist Dr. Eliza Moreno. "To watch the silent spread was horrifying." The footage didn't just confirm python impact. It revealed what slow collapse looks like. No explosions, no alarms. Just still water, unmoving grass, and a silence that said everything. The Everglades before the invasion. Before the invasion, the Everglades was a masterpiece of ecology, a 1.5 million acre wetland known as the River of Grass. Water didn't rush but drifted in a slow, wide sheet from Lake Okeechobee to Florida Bay, flowing inches per hour. That gentle pace supported a mosaic of sawgrass prairies, tree islands, sloughs, and mangrove forests, each teeming with life. It wasn't just beautiful, it was functional. The Everglades provided $31.5 billion annually in ecosystem services: flood control, carbon capture, water purification, and habitat for thousands of species. It filtered drinking water for over 8 million people and anchored regional industries like fishing and tourism. Birds once filled the skies: wood storks, egrets, spoonbills, their rookeries dense as clouds. On the ground, rabbits, foxes, bobcats, and alligators formed a balanced, interlinked food web. "It was a living machine," said one ecologist. "Every species mattered." That balance held for centuries, until the Burmese python arrived. Now drones scan the wetlands and reveal not presence, but absence. The Everglades hasn't just changed, it's fallen silent, not from noise, but from what's no longer there. How the python invasion began. The python crisis in the Florida Everglades didn't begin in the swamp. It began with a storm. On August 24, 1992, Hurricane Andrew, a Category 5 monster, slammed into Homestead, Florida, destroying neighborhoods, forests, and a reptile breeding facility housing dozens of Burmese pythons. When the storm cleared, the building was gone, and so were the snakes. But Andrew was just one chapter. During the 1980s and 90s, the exotic pet trade surged. Pythons sold across the U.S. became popular for their striking looks and docile nature. But these snakes grew fast, often over 20 feet and 200 pounds, far beyond what most owners could manage. Many were released into the wild. The Everglades offered perfect conditions: warm, wet, and full of prey, with no natural predators to stop them. Pythons adapted quickly, hiding in sawgrass, breeding in secret, and consuming everything from rabbits to alligators. One female can lay up to 100 eggs. Some scientists believe an unreported mass release may have accelerated the invasion. If true, the ecosystem wasn't invaded slowly. It was overwhelmed. It didn't start with snakes, one expert said. It started with people. And nature still is paying the price. Python engineering, a predator built for the swamp. Burmese pythons aren't just invasive. They're biological machines built by evolution to dominate. In the tangled landscape of the Florida Everglades, they move like shadows, disappearing into sawgrass and water. Even veteran snake hunters admit they often pass within feet of one without knowing. Their camouflage is more than visual, it's behavioral. These ambush predators can lie motionless for days, striking without warning. They can hold their breath for over 30 minutes, gliding silently underwater. Their presence is felt more in what vanishes than what's seen. Anatomically, they are formidable. Unhinging jaws, crushing muscles, and a flexible rib cage allow them to swallow prey several times their size, from rabbits to alligators. Their thermal pits detect body heat, letting them hunt in complete darkness. Florida gave them ideal conditions: no predators, abundant prey, and year-round warmth. Some experts estimate 100,000 to 300,000 pythons now roam South Florida, and counting. They're not just surviving here, one biologist warned, they're ruling here. One female can lay up to 100 eggs, and they're everywhere, in parks, canals, even swimming pools. This isn't cohabitation, it's erasure, an ecosystem silently rewritten by a predator that was never meant to be here. The devastating impact on native wildlife. By the early 2000s, the signs were impossible to ignore. What had once been a vibrant ecosystem of sound and motion had gone eerily silent. The cause? The python boom was now triggering an ecological crash. A landmark 2012 study revealed catastrophic declines. In areas where pythons were established, raccoon populations dropped by 99.3%, opossums by 98.9%, and bobcats by 87.5%. Marsh rabbits, foxes, and even birds vanished, either eaten or displaced. Biologists began calling it a ghost swamp. Trail cameras that once captured constant movement now showed hours of still, lifeless wetlands. The food web wasn't just bending, it was breaking. With small mammals gone, predators like panthers and alligators lost essential prey. Scavengers lost their food sources. Pollination chains were disrupted. It's not just what the pythons eat, said one ecologist. It's what they remove from the entire system. The drones captured it all, sweeping visuals of habitat that looked intact from above, but were functionally dead zones. The collapse wasn't loud. It didn't come all at once. It was invisible, slow, and absolute. The Everglades hadn't just been invaded, it had been hollowed out from the inside. Florida's first response: the unwinnable war. In 2013, the state responded with bold action. The Florida Python Challenge, inviting the public to hunt pythons with cash rewards. It drew headlines, reality shows, and thousands of eager participants. That year's top hunter captured 18 snakes. In total, 68 were removed. Biologists were not impressed. By 2024, the effort had grown. Over 800 hunters, thousands of participants, and more than 23,000 pythons removed by professionals. And still, biologists estimate this represents less than 5% of the population. Why? Because for every python removed, dozens hatch. Females lay up to 100 eggs per year. The Everglades' vast, inaccessible terrain, thick sawgrass, flooded marshes, remote islands, makes total eradication impossible. Ground operations were slow, expensive, and mostly symbolic. Spectacle replaced science. The ecosystem kept falling apart while headlines focused on prize catches and televised wrangling. "You can't out-hunt a reproductive machine," said one wildlife official. "We started too late." Despite massive public effort, the python population remained entrenched. Florida hadn't lost the war. It had never stood a chance. High-tech solutions fail. After ground efforts stalled, wildlife officials turned to technology. The goal was precision: track, isolate, and remove snakes faster than they could breed. But in the Everglades, even advanced tech quickly met its limits. Thermal drones were deployed first. A promising idea, but the swamp itself betrayed them. Ambient heat, sun-warmed water, and dense foliage masked the snake's signatures. Even at night, the readings were inconsistent. The pythons blended into the background noise. Next came the robotic lure project. Heated decoy animals like robotic rabbits designed to attract pythons using thermal cues. The results were dismal. The snakes ignored them, uninterested in plastic prey. Evolution, it seemed, couldn't be fooled by gadgets. Then came the Judith program, using radio-tagged male pythons to locate females during breeding season. It worked, slowly, but it was labor-intensive and expensive. Researchers would catch one male, tag him, release him, and hope he led them to a nest. It worked at a pace of years, not days. "The swamp doesn't care how smart your tech is," a program lead admitted. "It's still their home turf." The takeaway was bleak. Even with funding and innovation, nature was siding with the invaders. The pythons were faster, quieter, and everywhere. And worse, the biggest threat wasn't even the snakes anymore. The invisible aftermath, snake lungworm crisis. Just as biologists began to accept that Burmese pythons might never be fully removed from the Everglades, a new threat emerged. Smaller, quieter, and potentially far more enduring. In 2021, researchers tracking population declines among native snakes made a disturbing discovery. During necropsies, they found the lungs of water snakes, pygmy rattlesnakes, and king snakes were riddled with worms. Long, translucent parasites coiled deep inside lung tissue. The culprit was identified as Rhabdius orientalis, a parasitic lungworm native to Southeast Asia. It had arrived not alone, but inside the Burmese pythons. Its invasion wasn't dramatic. It was insidious. The life cycle is deceptively simple and terrifyingly effective. Python feces release lungworm larvae into the environment. These infect insects, which are eaten by frogs and lizards. When native snakes prey on those amphibians and reptiles, the lungworms enter a new host. Once inside, they migrate to the lungs, where they feed, multiply, and suffocate the snake from within. Native snakes don't have defenses against it. They starve because they can't breathe. They become lethargic, lose their ability to hunt, and die from what appears to be starvation, but is really internal asphyxiation. As of 2024, more than 18 native snake species in Florida have tested positive, and the parasite is no longer dependent on the pythons. It's spreading freely, self-sustaining within the Everglades native wildlife, a second invisible invasion. "We focused on the predator," said one parasitologist. "We missed the pathogen. What's worse, it's likely underdetected. Many infected snakes die in remote areas, decomposing before they can be studied. And while python removal efforts dominate headlines, this biological threat is being overlooked by most of the public, despite its potential to reshape the region's biodiversity permanently. Even if every python were removed tomorrow, the damage would continue. The lungworm has become a permanent resident. It cannot be trapped, hunted, or baited. It moves through food chains. It hides in prey species. It thrives in the same hot, wet conditions that define the Everglades itself. This isn't just ecological damage anymore. It's biological collapse from within. The pythons made the ecosystem vulnerable. The lungworm could finish what they started. The Everglades' greatest threat is no longer just visible coils in the grass. It's what you can't see and can't kill. Unexpected signs of resilience. Just when it seemed the Everglades had been permanently subdued by an unstoppable invader, nature did something it hadn't in decades. It fought back. A motion-triggered trail camera deep in the swamp captured something astonishing. A bobcat, small, wiry, native, dragging the body of a 52-pound Burmese python through the sawgrass. The image rippled through the scientific community. This wasn't scavenging, it was a predation event. The first confirmed kill of a full-grown python by a native mammal. Soon after, biologists reviewing old camera data began noticing more. Alligators ambushing juveniles. A Florida panther caught on film tearing into a python coil. Even red foxes, long considered vulnerable, were observed harassing hatchlings. These weren't accidental encounters. They showed targeted behavior, signs of learning, pattern recognition, and adaptation. Under relentless pressure, native predators were beginning to evolve. They were identifying this new threat, and some were figuring out how to fight it. "It's not balance," said one field biologist, "but it's resistance, real measurable resistance. Yet it's a slow burn. For every python hatchling lost, hundreds more hatch unseen, spread across 1.5 million acres of swamp. Adult pythons, especially females, still sit at the top of the food web, with few animals capable of challenging them. Territories also overlap unequally. Apex predators like panthers are few, and they range far. Their interactions with pythons are rare, not routine, and most documented kills still involve younger snakes, not the full-grown giants dominating the Everglades interior. But the signs are there: bite scars on python bodies, clutch sites disturbed, hatchlings missing, patterns in the drone footage changing. Slight, almost imperceptible, but real. The Everglades isn't just decaying, it's reacting. Evolution has always been slow, but it never stops. Even in an ecosystem overrun by invasive giants, natural intelligence endures. The predators are adjusting, the land is adapting, and the silence, once total, now occasionally breaks with the snap of jaws and the fall of a snake. It may not be enough to turn the tide, not yet, but it's proof that the Everglades, though wounded, is still wild, still aware, and still, somewhere deep inside, resisting. The indigo snake solution and new aftermath. Out of all the strategies proposed to fight Florida's python invasion, from robotic decoys to armed public hunts, one stood out. Not engineered in a lab, but born in the swamp itself. The eastern indigo snake, once nearly extinct in Florida, is being reintroduced as a natural predator and a potential turning point in the battle for the Everglades. Indigos are non-venomous, but they are large, fast, and relentlessly aggressive. Known for consuming venomous snakes, including cottonmouths and rattlesnakes, the eastern indigo is one of the few native species willing and able to attack and kill young Burmese pythons. They don't constrict their prey. They overpower and swallow them whole. Reintroduction efforts began slowly, but thanks to habitat restoration projects, including the revival of longleaf pine forests and gopher tortoise burrows, crucial indigo habitat, the snakes began to reestablish themselves in parts of southern Florida. Then, in 2023, a landmark moment. Trail cameras captured footage of wild-born indigo hatchlings, slithering free in the wild for the first time in over 3 decades. It wasn't just symbolic. It was biological proof that the indigos were not just surviving, they were reproducing. But the optimism is cautious. What happens when indigo territories overlap with fully grown pythons? Hatchlings are vulnerable to predation, and even adult indigos would struggle against 20-foot apex constrictors. The speed of python reproduction still vastly outpaces indigo population growth. More critically, there's a new threat: the snake lungworm, Rhabdius orientalis. Spread originally by Burmese pythons, it has already infected over 18 native snake species. The question scientists now face: can the indigo snake survive this parasite? If not, reintroduction may only buy time, not turn the tide. It's a comeback story, said one herpetologist, but it's happening in a land already changed. The Everglades may never be what it was, but this moment, this effort, may help it become something new. A remixed ecosystem, guided not by control, but by resilience. Nature isn't surrendering, it's adapting, improvising, and trying to write a second act. Whether that act ends in recovery or collapse will depend not just on science, but on how we respond to the wild systems we've pushed too far. The drone saw the silence, not just snakes, but a system unraveling. What's left now may be beyond saving.